Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Voices by VEEU. Today with me at the studio I've got Alli Weir. Welcome Alli, how are you feeling today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you so much. So excited to know about you and your experience. Tell me, what do you do?
So primarily I do a lot of acting, so I'm stage and screen actress with a bit of improv, but I also do writing on the side, so I'm involved with a magazine called Phantasmagoria, and that means I do some co-editing. I would interview some famous people who have been involved in literature and also write my own stories and contribute. So it's sci-fi, horror and fantasy. So I love all those genres when I'm writing.
Oh wow, so you seem to be a very super busy woman.
I call myself creative, yeah.
Yeah, creative.
I'm busy.
Equals to going crazy sometimes. Yeah. So between the balance of acting and the writing, how would you describe what you do most and how do you balance your life?
So I just call myself pretty much a passionate creative. I also would do a lot of work with friends on passion projects. I do like a combination of writing, I act, and I sometimes do a bit of directing with my network in Belfast. So it really is a 50-50 split. It's a bit of both. I love being able to do one or the other at any given time, pretty much.
So this is you as a professional, but about yourself as a person, as something do you like to share with us?
I'm just very quirky, I guess. I love having a laugh with people, you know. I'd say I'm a little bit rebellious. I like to have, a good social life, get out with friends and travel. I just love being out there and doing things, learning things every day.
So I'm aware that you've got a health condition. Does that somehow ever stop you to do what you do?
I wouldn't say it stopped me because that wouldn't be fair, but I had thought maybe this last 12 months it has limited me a little bit more than I'd hoped. So I have a condition called endometriosis, or endo for short, and I was diagnosed last year. So this is something that has kind of been on the cards for a while, and I wasn't sure I might have had something wrong with me. But it's one of those things that I've had to learn to get to grips with.
I don't know anything about it.
It's a bit of a tricky one to explain. So basically, I have a lot of inner problems. So when we've got uterine tissue, obviously on a monthly cycle a woman goes through, that would be normal of a woman to get rid of that naturally. But for me, it sort of gets trapped. So I have a condition where some of this endometriosis tissue, it spreads to other organs essentially. So for example, it can go to the pelvic area and it becomes very chronic and painful when it does that. So it can also spread to things like the lungs, the kidneys, the bowel, the bladder, and it's pretty fatiguing, you know, and it can leave some scarring, and you might need to get surgeries and things like that.
You've been living with this pain for a few years now, but past year it's been a bit more aggravating.
It's been more debilitating, I'd say, yeah. I mean, obviously with quite an active life of acting and writing, I've had to rein it in a little bit more than I'd wanted to, but it hasn't stopped me by any stretch, and I wouldn't let it either, I don't think.
When you're acting, or like, did you have to put any jobs down because you were in pain, or you were having an episode that was a bit hard? Because this is something that me looking at you, I can't tell if you are in pain or not. If you never told me this, I couldn't say they've got chronic illness, right?
Yeah, well, exactly that. And that's a good question, because I've had to really limit things that I'm going to go for in terms of opportunities. So this time last year, I was thinking, you know, I do a lot of choreography, dancing as well as acting, and I've really had to calm myself down on that. So I'd be going for less opportunities, unfortunately, knowing that that's going to burn me out the next day. I just know rightly, if I'm going to do some choreography of any kind or anything energetic, maybe a long periods of rehearsals, it's just best not to go there. It's just become a big no-go for me, unfortunately. So I'd have to do maybe smaller events, you know, think about what I'm applying for in advance and really rein it around that, and just try and just give myself less of a schedule to do. And that's been very hard. That's a big discipline in itself.
I mean, I understand you, because you as an artist, dancing, theatre, acting, your body is your instrument.
Yes.
And then if you're not 100% good, or that would somehow
You've just got to crack on with things and hope that no one notices, or when it does get bad, just sort of try and brush it off maybe, or sort of say, hey, look, I need a break, 5 minutes.
But why do you say, I hope nobody notices? Like, I don't want people to see that I'm ill, so I'm not capable to do
That's
this.
exactly,
Do you know what I mean?
that's exactly, you've hit the nail on the head there, tell me, yeah, because I don't want people to see me as less of a creative or that I'm not able to do something. And maybe I've got to come to terms with that. That's still part of the last 12 months I'm still learning. But maybe in the future, I'd like to think I can be more accepting of that and have people understand, actually, hey, it's okay to have a condition like this, and let people know out there how exactly you're feeling. I think it's something like 1 in 10 people in the UK, or 1 in 10 women have endometriosis. But not a lot of people out there are aware of actually what the symptoms are. So as much as the pain is a big thing, the physical pain,
Right.
I also get maybe episodes of brain fog, which means I might look like I'm on drugs, but I'm really not, okay? I might zone out sometimes, and maybe I've had a long day and I go, actually, I need to go and have a sleep here now. I'm just feeling really drained. But you wouldn't know. You maybe just think, oh, she's having a bad day. You know, she's just got a headache or a bit of tummy ache or something, you know.
And I've seen on social media a lot, because this is a thing I feel like people are having more awareness of their body, of their feelings. Like, I don't think men sometimes understand, of people in general, because even women, they are in denial about how other women feel with some conditions. And I'm not saying like back in the day people didn't used to feel, because I believe people used to feel the same way that we feel, but with medicine now being with the development of medicine, like you can actually understand what are the issues, what are the illness, and how to treat them. And then people now can talk about it and say, look, I'm not ashamed of this is how I'm feeling. But like, do you feel somehow, especially like in the art industry, some people still don't understand that you don't have no choice and this is the way you're feeling in? And do you perhaps feel people have said no to you because they're afraid that you're going to be lazy or not being up for the job?
That's exactly, I think, where I'm going, because I feel at times that's why I can't really talk about it. So say for a casting director, like, you know, they might go, well, you don't look right today, you know, and that's fine. But I don't sort of upfront tell people, by the way, I've got this, because I think I'm then uncastable. So I just go about my business as if, hey, like, you know, but obviously when I'm in a project and maybe I get a really bad episode and I'm having a real bad day, I have to somehow try and mask that. And I don't want to do that. But I think some people still out there are getting it wrong. You know, they just go, well, that's part of women's problems. And I'm like, no, you are far away from that truth.
Yeah, that's
this is
wrong.
This is abnormal. Women shouldn't be going through this, you know. You can't normalize it anymore, because I mean, they might say, like, for example, oh, you know, it's just a bit of period pain. But there's more to it than that. You know, that's only one part and parcel of it. There's a lot more going on. You've got the mental side of it as well. You know, you want to make sure that people understand that you're not just physically going through things, but mentally as well, you know. And it is, some days are just awful, other days are great, and I'm buzzing with energy off all four walls. But you just can't.
But indirectly as well, you got that idea in your mind, or am I going to have an episode now? I want to come across very professional.
Yes.
This is happening to me now. People cannot see. I want to pass through it, but this is happening to me. This is not something that... Can you change the pain like this? Is there some medicine that you can take?
I mean, yeah, so endometriosis is not curable, right? So it's an actual inflammatory disease which basically is not curable. And there are medications out there, but they're not always going to resolve things immediately. For example, one day I went bowling with my partner, and I felt great. But within half an hour, I started to go so downhill. I was crying in pain, and the only way of dealing with it was not taking medication, but just going to have a nap for 2 hours. But you can't always do that in the middle of an acting gig, right? So I've had to learn, like, coping mechanisms. So, for example, you probably see me drinking a lot of Monster and energy drinks, which aren't great for you, and I'm sure the dentist will have problems with me drinking a lot of fizzy drinks. But, like, I would have to have one of those maybe every so many shifts. I would be on glucose energy tablets, and just maybe making sure I don't go without food, you know, make sure I don't lack on that energy, just doing different things that can help me. But that's taken a while for me to learn what to do there, and I've had to get myself a routine.
When did you know? When did you find out you have this disease, this condition?
I got my diagnosis last year, so it's through an MRI scan when I found out what I had. I mean, I've had ongoing, like, procedures in hospitals. I had to have a blood transfusion about 7 or 8 years ago because I lost so much blood. Basically a procedure that went wrong in the UK. I'm not going to name who it was or which town or city, but I was on holiday and I lost a lot of blood, and I basically had to get emergency treatment abroad. And luckily I spoke Spanish, so at least I could go, hey, look, I'm about to collapse here. I had to be in a wheelchair. I couldn't walk. I'd bled so much that I had to have a blood transfusion.
So how is it for you to living for, are we talking about like 10 years, 20 years you start feeling these symptoms?
I first started getting these probably in my early 20s. You feel a lot like the medics are on your side, clearly, but, you know, they're not always going to say, you know, this is wrong with you or you've got this problem. I felt I wasn't being listened to, or people are going, hey, it's in your head. You know, just take some tranexamic tablets. These are what would help with my periods, my menstrual cycles, and they'd be like, go away, you know, surely you'll get better maybe over time. And obviously, you know, for a while that, you know, when your body's telling you that something's not right.
You feel it.
Yeah, and I've had the ongoing, over about 15 years, I've always had some kind of problems with my gynecological health. And I'm sort of going, okay, you know, this can't be me just like imagining it here. There's got to be something else going on. But of course, the diagnosis can take ages. There's lots of women out there who are still undiagnosed and going through this. It's traumatizing. It's heartbreaking.
Did you ever seen someone talking on a podcast as like a woman perspective? Have you heard anyone talking about this disease and like how it affects their life as well? Are people out there talking about this?
I guess like I'm on numerous forums now that I'm aware of what I've got, and I have been listening to people talking about their own traumatic experiences. Obviously articles. I've been looking on social media and just following different people. I mean, there's lots of actresses out there that have it. I mean, we've got like, you know, Susan Sarandon, Whoopi Goldberg, Amy Schumer, and there's so many people out there living with endometriosis, both celebrities or just average everyday people. And everyone's got their own very different stories to tell about how they got their diagnosis and, you know, how long they've been living with this condition. So yeah, it's it takes a lot of reading up and researching yourself. So the medics don't always provide all the answers either. And that's what I found on my journey. You know, you've got to go out there and look it all up.
So when you're listening to these testimonials from well-famous actors, and you say like, oh, I'm feeling the same. They have the same thing that I have.
But you wouldn't know it to see them sometimes, you know? I mean, you wouldn't think some people have the condition, and then you hear they do and you're like, wow, you know.
So how does that make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it makes me think like, you know, I'm not the only one out there going through this. And that sort of gives me some kind of reassurance that, you know, there's other people going out there and trying to spread this awareness, you know, by talking like today. I really wanted to tell my story and obviously signpost what people are going through when they have this condition. I wanted to educate people and let them know exactly what this is about, because it shouldn't be masked like I've been masking it. We really should be talking about it and supporting people who've got it and loved ones. I mean, do you happen to know anyone who's got endometriosis yourself?
I don't think I do. I think I understand the condition. I don't think I've ever like heard about the name itself.
Yeah.
Or maybe I did, but I just didn't pay much of attention just because I don't live with it, so I didn't know much about it. But I don't think I've ever had a conversation like we're having right now, explaining about the disease and like the consequences that you have in terms of things they might put you off, things that you want to be able to do. Mm-hmm. Maybe I know someone, but they've never told me. So
yeah, I think it's one of those things that shouldn't be taboo, and there's a bit of a stigma around it perhaps, but that's why it's nice to set the record straight today and say, look, you know, you might think I'm a normal, healthy person, but really this could be going on in someone that you know, maybe a friend or a relative, maybe who hasn't talked about it. So it's really important to signpost and storytell where we can about it. I think it's important.
What was the worst episode that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I can think of one actually from last year. So I tried a burlesque role. I was basically working on a murder mystery and I had to do a burlesque routine. And really it was nice because I'd never done one before, and I thought, great, the director's given me that creative freedom. I go away and choreograph it myself, and I thought in my head, you know, that means I can then do it how I want it, knowing that I'm limited on certain movements and things that might set me off. I like that freedom, and I got to do a bit of a routine, a burlesque routine around the chair. Mm-hmm. The only problem was when I had to do some synchronized performances with co-dancers. That's when it became a lot more whoa, we're doing a lot of rigorous movement here. This is really pushing me to my limits. And the director actually said something like, oh, it looks like you're struggling today. I thought this would be really simple, for you to try and do. Those kind of words, as if to say, you look like you're struggling, and why is this so? But not in a positive way. I found it was a little bit
offensive.
A condescending, yeah. And I kind of went, well, I'm having an off day. I didn't really want to go into detail, because there's a time and a place for that, right? If you're in front of a cast of people, you don't want to go, by the way, I've got endo, back off. So I kind of have to go, I'm feeling a little irritable, just give me time, and you really have to try and keep your cool and composure, and that's hard, because that in itself is acting. Being yourself is acting, and you're also acting in this other role. So it's hard.
Psychologically, how does that make you feel as well?
It makes me feel like no one's got kind of like confidence in me that I'm there to do the job. I've said I will do this, and I know I'm going to struggle, but I will never let people down. That's one thing I always say, is like I'm committable. I'm a committable person. If I'm going to do something, I would never let people down. And I like to think that they had that reassurance and believed in that as well. It makes me feel a little bit, not useless, but sometimes less able. And that's hard to deal with mentally. So, yeah. You can't always explain to people there and then. You've got to be in the right mood for it. Some people I can have beautiful conversations with, like yourself, and go, hey, I've got this condition. And they're very understanding. I'm not after sympathy, I'm just after empathy at the end of the day. I just want people to understand, hey, I'll do the job, but please let me do it on my terms. I'm struggling a wee bit. So, yeah. Yeah, you've got to do what you can and manage it as best as you can.
So for women, they're watching us today. Do you have any tip for them?
Yeah, I would basically say something along the lines of, listen to your body. If you know something's off and something doesn't feel right, go with your gut, because you know something's wrong. Only you know yourself, how you're feeling in your inner self, and go with that flow. And keep following your dream, because that's what I'm doing. I've never given up acting or writing despite this illness. Okay, I'm more challenged by it now than I would have been this time maybe 3 years ago, when I started to really deteriorate. But never ever let go of your dream, and keep persevering. Just do it.
And for you now, what's the goal? Is any projects coming in soon?
Yeah, I've got a Girl Next Door project coming up in a couple of months. That's going to be fun. That's quite a lot of improv work. And I'm just doing my usual, being myself, writing, acting, doing my murder mysteries, doing my short film projects, pretty much. Keep my work ticking over. I'll never stop.
You're a busy bee.
Until my heart stops beating, that's when I'll stop. But I will never stop.
I love that. I mean, I can tell you're so energetic, and then even though you've got this condition and sometimes put you off a little bit, it feels like you're truly interested and invested in the project and everything that you do. And then some people might seem like, oh, she's being lazy. She's telling us she's in pain. Like, yeah, I am. Like, I'm really trying my best here, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%, yeah. And that's one thing I don't want people to sort of think that I'm lazy, because I'm far from it.
Did people ever use that word, lazy?
No, they haven't, but you can tell. You just read the body language. You can just tell that they're thinking, oh, she's obviously not what we thought of her. And that's soul destroying, to be quite honest. Yes. It really is. You don't want that person to believe that of you, especially when that's not who you really are.
So how do you build up your self-esteem?
I think just I've been doing it. I don't know how, just by a bit of trial and error. You've got to try different things, I've got to learn to rest and recuperate. Like when I've had a real high day, I have to basically take a day off the next day. Just little different tricks I've been doing, and just tips I've been using from other people who have got endo. Obviously other people, creatives, will be going through the same thing, and I've just been doing a lot of reading up online.
What about your circle of friends and family? Do you get support from them? How is it?
Oh, absolutely.
For them as well?
Yeah, I've opened up to a lot of friends and family around it, and they've been amazing. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better appreciation and understanding from them. And that's nice, because I'd be there for them if they were in my shoes and someone else going through this. You want to be there for your friends and family, and they've just been amazing with me. That's all I can say. Been really good to me.
Is there any episode that you like to highlight? Oh, I went out with my family and then I had to cancel last minute. Like, did that ever happen to you?
Oh, they totally get that. That's the difference. So out in the industry, if you were to do that, you cancel a gig, you probably may not get work again with them, and that's the fear. But with family, they totally get when you're having an off day. I'll just go, hey, I've got a rain check today, and they go, Alli's having a bad day. But she'll bounce back. She'll be fine. She always comes back. So, and they get that, and that's why I'm so appreciative of that understanding with my family. They know what I'm going through, and they're there for me, which is so important. And I just, admire that.
You were just telling me once you went bowling with your partner.
Yeah, my partner Adam. Yeah, he's been really understanding on this. He's actually come up with something I now hold as my mantra, which is whatever doesn't get done today gets done tomorrow. And I'm like, amazing, because to me in my head I'm like so energetic and have been. I try and cram everything in, and I think, oh my God, if I don't do it now I'm going to forget. That's part of the brain fog kicking in. And he's just taught me to like go slower in life. It's not going to disappear. It'll be there tomorrow waiting for you, that opportunity. Just take it easy. And I'm so thankful to him for that.
So now you're talking about this brain fog. So
Yeah.
in each aspect, does that affect you? Like, do you forget things when you're acting? Can you forget lines?
I've tried my best in that respect. It's not more the lines, really. It's more brain fogging. Like, when I'm out somewhere, like going shopping, I just seem to forget things more spontaneously. Or, oh, I better go and pick up that thing from the shop. It's those kind of things. It's not... I make a list. I have to make a list now. So it doesn't really affect me professionally, my lines or anything like that. It's more like spontaneous things in everyday activities that seem to affect me. But it's not always the case. I wouldn't get brain fog like every day. But there are instances where, because maybe I haven't kept that energy in, I've used my energy up, that's when brain fog happens. I'm depleting like a battery, essentially.
When you're more tired.
Yeah, exactly. That's when it starts to kick in.
Can these be aggravated with age?
I'm not sure about that, actually. I mean, maybe down the line I will get more brain fog as I go down, as I get older. It's not something I've thought about. But yeah, I will just have to keep finding more coping mechanisms, I guess, and keep dealing with it.
Thank you so much for sharing so much about endo and how does that affect you as an artist and as a person in a daily life. But I truly would like to know more about you as an artist, so like projects that you've been involved.
Yeah, sure. So I've done quite a lot actually over the last year. I would say I played Dr. Watson in a murder mystery. I've also done some very different kind of roles. For example, I did BDSM for a really great project called Heirloom. So I played a very, very curious lady who was into erotica. Actually, I was quite poorly when I did that. I'd had a surgery just before that. So I remember actually really being quite self-conscious doing that role because I was covered in bruises from all the injections I'd had in hospital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But as I said...
Did people on set notice it? Did you have to have makeup to cover it?
I don't know, actually. Like, they might have put some makeup on. I'm trying to remember now because this was January last year.
Right.
But literally, I thought to myself, I'm doing well. I'm cracking on with it, And I guess I find doing these characters easier than being myself. So I was kind of masking how I really felt in real life by doing this character in the project Heirloom. So I find that a lot.
Would you say sometimes because you aren't in pain, you somehow kind of try to hide your personality and try to invest more in the character's personality? Because as an actor, you invest so much in building these character, that their personality, and you somehow try to mask.
I think you're right there, Thelma. Yeah, I think there's an element of that. Like, I want to be able to like forget about who I am, so I kind of get so busy in the moment and get so drawn into the characterization of the role I'm playing. I literally just go, right, let's get focused here, and I forget actually sometimes about myself. I'm quite self-conscious. I would say I need to probably start to learn to love myself a little bit more and give myself a bit more time, in body and spirit, like that kind of, just give myself a bit more healing time and try and learn to love myself. I do struggle with that. Like, I have Not identity issues as such, but you get where I'm coming from.
Yes, I do get what you're saying. I mean, you as an actor, you spend so much time thinking about the character itself, their feelings, that you don't want to think about your feelings, and you're trying to pull all this energy
100%.
in its character because you want so much to deliver this perfect role, and then you forget about your feelings and try to live in the
real life
skin.
trauma. Yes, 100%. Yeah, I think I've done that quite a lot, and it helps me forget about the pain. So like I can be in a lot of pain on set sometimes, and you know, I'm on the meds, and I sometimes don't want people to know that, and I don't want to draw attention to that. So I get so focused and ingrained in doing that character and being that character, and yeah.
But there's some characters that are definitely more interesting than the others, and this last one that you was just telling me.
That was an interesting character.
May I ask, like, how did your boyfriend feel about the, I don't know what to say, DSM?
BDSM. Yeah, I think actually at the time he wasn't really fully aware of it, but I showed him some pictures of me basically in my costume with my whip, and then he just laughed about it.
Wait, he didn't know beforehand? It's just like when you were on set, oh, by the way, this is me now.
Well, he kind of knew the character I was playing, but I didn't go into detail, you know. Okay. He knew a little bit about it, but then when he watched the video, when he watched it on YouTube, I think it was, he was like, wow. He goes, oh my gosh, wow, you really pulled a rabbit out of a hat there. He literally just said, well done, because he knew how ill I was feeling. So I don't think it really dawned on him what exactly I was doing. Like, the character was just that bizarre. In his head, he was like, you were so poorly during that. You did amazing just to drag yourself through it. And by the way, it was like really cold. I think it was like January, and I was like not wearing much in terms of clothing. So yeah, you know, he just laughed.
No, that's good to know that you guys can have a laugh together, because I don't know how it happens with your relationship. I do believe some people or some partners can get a bit restrictive.
Yes.
And like, you as an actor, so what are you doing? If you're kissing someone, if you're naked, this is you playing the character, and this is not you as a person.
Obviously there's limitations, you know. I, for example, was in a play called 1984, and I played a male character called Winston, and I had to kiss Juliet. So I kissed another female actress on stage. And, you know, that's part of the role. But my partner's very understanding, you know. He totally understands, you know, okay, you've got certain things you've got to do, maybe kiss or get a bit emotional. I don't think I'll go as far as maybe doing something like 50 Shades of Grey, and I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't go down that kind of line and do those real, you know, kind of proper hardcore roles. But then who knows? I mean, I'd obviously talk it through with him first and get a better understanding. I mean, if he didn't want me to do it, I would totally respect that, you know.
I hear you. So it's just like the line of respect rather
than
like,
of course, you've got to have respect.
Authorization for my boyfriend to kiss a girl.
Yeah, but he totally understands, like, you know, you go out there, and if that's the challenging project you want to do, then that's what you're going to do, then that's fine. You know, he wouldn't be like, no, you can't do that. He's not controlling in that sense. But obviously I talk it through because I've got that respect for him, and we've got that mutual respect. Yeah.
I think that's nice to hear. Is there any like favorite genre that you prefer? Obviously, we're talking about theatre and TV. Is there something that you prefer the most?
Well, I've done a few corporate videos for a company, and I love comedy, and I got to just be very silly. I just love having a laugh on set. Obviously, I like doing drama roles. You know, there will be times where I know I've got to get serious. So there's projects I've done where I've had to be such a villain and be really nasty.
I can actually see that for me. Even if it's the red hair.
Well, I had to whip someone, and I was so like, oh my gosh, I hope I'm not hurting you. When I whipped the character, obviously in Heirloom last year, I was so worried I'd like hurt him, so I had to like run that past him before I did the scene. Are you okay with me doing this? So I'm always conscious of things like that as well.
So now talking about this, the guys need to see it. Guys, take a look at the episode 4 of Heirloom. Let's see. Here she comes.
Excuse me, Mira, what's this?
Well, what do you think this is? You know this is, don't you?
But I thought you were just supposed to, you know.
I like to dominate. You see?
Wait, you would now be beating me, and I'll be watching you.
I I will be gentle, I promise.
Wait, I need to process this.
I'm tired of talking. Now pull off your pants and bend over.
No, wait. Am I mad? No, now. It can't be that bad now.
Why you frustrate me? Either you do this or no payment. It's in contract.
See? I'll rather die. Huh? You hear me? I'll rather die.
I love this.
Oh no.
Did you actually enjoy playing this role? Did you get any satisfaction?
I wouldn't say enjoy. Well, yeah. I mean, I was a little bit nervous about doing the role, but like overall, yeah, I was more worried about hurting Destiny when I got the whip out. But yeah, I wouldn't. I think in the end, I was. Yeah, I think everyone was just so nice on set, and they just. Yeah, I got confident in the end, and then just went for it. So.
What about you watching yourself, watching back the scene once it's edited? How does that make you feel?
I think when I went to the premiere, I was a little embarrassed because I knew there were other people in the room whilst I was watching it back.
Oh.
But I can watch it on my own. It's not so bad. But I don't really, as a rule, like watching myself. I don't know why.
Do you somehow you feel a bit awkward?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. When I actually look back and question it, I go, oh my gosh, I really did have to hit him hard, you know. So, I mean, there was no pretending there. That literally happened.
No way.
Yeah. So.
How's the male actor doing? Is he all right?
I hope he wasn't too traumatized, but we're still talking, so I think it's good.
Okay. Is there any bloopers out of this scene? I mean, we must see those.
Possibly. I haven't seen them myself, so maybe there are some lurking out there. Who knows?
So we've mentioned that endo is something that is present in your life pretty much every single day, and some days you might feel a bit better, some days it can be a bit worse. But apart from that, how do you feel as an overall? Like, what's your ambitions?
I think just having the positive attitude, really, and keep going, because there's some days where I think I'm never going to get better, but just accept, hey, I've got this condition, but I won't let it own me. And I think going back to earlier on, what my partners really helped me truly believe in is having that sort of organisation and routine and going about your business in a slower manner. Mm-hmm. What doesn't get done today will get done tomorrow. And I've really started to truly believe in myself and really put that to use in everyday routines now. I've been getting out in the garden where I can, not pushing myself, but learning to enjoy nature and just realise it's not all work and the daily grind. Try and have a switch off point and get out there and relax where you can as well.
And for people that are listening to this today and they perhaps suffering from the same illness, what would you say? Do you have any tips?
Mm-hmm. I would just say you've got to go out there and talk to people. I'm happy to talk to anybody about my experiences and help others out there going through something similar, and just listen to your body and go and get some help if you need to. Go and talk to a doctor about it. Don't just let people say, oh, it's in your head. Mm-hmm. You know when something's wrong with your body. You get that vibe and that feeling, and go and talk to people, because that's the best way of getting your diagnosis or condition seen or heard about, and don't keep it to yourself. I think having a good positive mind really helps, and obviously get your support network out there, get out with family and friends, and not be afraid to talk about what you're going through, and let someone out there know you know, you're having good days and bad days, just don't keep it to yourself, because
Absolutely.
I think if that happens, that's when you start to really like mentally deteriorate, and then you lose that self-belief. Whereas when people are aware of it a bit more, you know, like your nearest and dearest, I think it's really important. It's super important that you let people know what you're going through and don't feel like a broken record.
Thank you so much for your testimony today, Ali. It was a great pleasure having you here and get to know you more as an artist, as a professional, but also the pain and the illness that you've been living with for so many years. And I do think somehow this can help people at home to put their voice out there and continue carrying on and following their dreams.
No, that's been good. Thank you for having me. I've been enjoying talking to you, and thanks for having me on Talking to Voices.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. This was Voices by VEEU with Alli Weir, and with me, Tal Louise, your host for today. Stay tuned for more episodes here at Voices by VEEU.